TV. I have the sound turned off, but the audio's on, or the TV's on. And they're making cream eggs in some kind of factory, and I'm like, whoa, dude, I want to work at that factory. Just thought I'd let you know. Anyway.
Is that what, Cadbury?
Yeah, but they're making like white chocolate cream eggs, and I'm like, oh shit. And then like, if some of the cream eggs don't come out right, well, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna throw them out? Well, why don't you just eat them? I'll eat them. I'll be the fucking cream egg disposal man. I could do that. That could be my job.
That could be your early 1990s WWF gimmick.
Fucking cream egg man.
Yeah, it'll be you, Repo Man, Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
I'm just eating cream eggs.
And just you eating cream eggs during the match.
Yeah. I mean,
Nails goes to tag in Dylan the cream egg eater, but he's too busy eating cream.
Dang it. Why will he ever learn? Addictions are no joke.
He can't tag in. His hands are covered in cream.
Mm-hmm. He just slips away. He like slips on the tag rope, whatever.
Yeah, the referee's like, I can't allow it. There's no skin to skin contact. It's skin to cream, egg to skin.
It's not. And then it distracting the referee. There's a bit where I'm like, hey ref, look over there, but I accidentally get cream all over the referee's face, and he's like, oh, I'm blinded. So he's got cream in his face, and then the heels like hit somebody with a chair and they win.
Yeah, you're like Mr. Fuji with the little bowl of salt, but it's just cream from the cream eggs.
Cream from cream eggs, yeah. This is a really good start to the show. Should we keep?
I know this is our fantasy booking right here.
Should we keep this intro in, or?
I think we should. I'm a big fan of the cream egg wrestler.
It's a good start.
Hello, this is Corey and Dylan. And the last time you listened to us, we did a draft of the not so modern day roster of WB, but beginning of 2020, with the idea that each of us were going to be controlling and booking our own brand of the WWE. My brand is Raw. Dylan's brand is Smackdown. If you would like to hear that previous episode, by all means, please do, because our draft, I think, is quite entertaining, including a lot of debates on the correct pronunciation of Angel Garza. Or but don't spoil it. We don't.
People need to hear. If they haven't heard it already, go listen to it now.
That's the big hook. Who did I draft? Who did Dylan draft? And how do you pronounce Angel Garza's name correctly?
Well, we know that he's involved somehow. So somebody drafted him.
He got drafted.
But who drafted him?
Gasp. Who? Honestly, and I think you put up a poll to see who did the better draft, and I think I lost.
Well, it's still at the moment active of recording, it's still active. But last I checked, I checked one day, and let me actually double check right now. This is pure like proper like behind the scenes business. But when I checked earlier, at some point we were tied, and then I checked later on after that, and then I got an extra vote, and I'm like, oh, business is picking up. So. Last time I checked, I think I was ahead by 1 point. Let me see what the deal is.
Yeah.
Whereas this is riveting stuff, but it's important. We gotta figure this stuff out for the people. At the moment, it's the same. I am ahead by 1 vote. So there you go.
Oh, okay. Is the voting still 3 people participated?
5 people.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
It almost doubled the last time it was.
There you go. We're really making waves in this podcast business right now.
Oh, man, that's the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for those of the uninitiated, I am in control of the Raw brand. Dylan is in control of the SmackDown brand. The format of the episode is going to be simple. We are going to go through a month's worth of television, mainly hitting the highlights, and then we will go through our pay-per-view card and break it down match per match. Dylan has asked that I go first because he heard that I have done quite a bit of writing on mine, and he wants to see if he can one-up me.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, Raw's on Monday night and SmackDown's on Friday, so it makes sense.
Does it?
I think it does on a weekly.
All right.
All right. So this is week 1 of Monday Night Raw. I debated, by the way, having musical cues up, but I thought that would be a lot of effort for something that, I don't know if it'd be well received. So, if that'll be the poll for this week. Should I have music queued up? We'll have 2 polls. Poll 1, who had the better month? Poll 2, should I have music queued up every time?
Poll 3, how do you pronounce Angel Garza's name?
Poll 4, however do you think the cream egg wrestler?
The cream egg man. Yeah. Who on my roster can I turn into the cream egg man? Oh, I know exactly who I can turn into the cream egg man. This is starting to write itself. This is amazing.
Oh man. Can we adapt this for the EWA?
Oh, I think so. All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
So week 1, Raw starts, pyro music. I'm sure it's god awful music. It always is. And Eric Bischoff comes out and announces that there is a new era in the WWE. The WWE shareholders have finally admitted that Vince McMahon's daughter and son-in-law have dropped the ball with their investment, and a corporate takeover has kicked Vince out of power. And who do they choose to replace him? The only man that ever beat Vince McMahon at his own game, Eric Bischoff. Bischoff comes out and says, starting tonight, it's a total reset of everything you think you know about Monday Night Raw. The champs all vacated. The roster gutted down to the bone of who he believes can be real players. Also, because there's no world title, he announces there's going to be a 5-man elimination match at the next pay-per-view, and that qualifying matches start now. As for the name of the pay-per-view, well, what better name for a WWE show directed by Eric Bischoff than Armageddon?
Ooh.
Yeah. So our first match and first qualifier is Jeff Hardy versus Mike Kanellis. And Kanellis wins this match with a low blow. Rolls up Hardy. Jeff Hardy's been eliminated. Mike Kanellis is going to Armageddon to fight for the World Heavyweight title. Next is Roman Reigns is backstage, and he's approached by Eric Bischoff, telling him that his years of preferential treatment are over. He was only kept on the Raw roster because the WWE shareholders believe that Roman is marketable, and that Eric says that because of that, he's essentially going to try to coach Roman Reigns that maybe wrestling isn't for him anymore, and that next week he's facing the Bullet Club if he can find a tag team that's willing to partner up with him. Next, we have Charlotte, who comes to Eric and demands to be awarded the women's title because she's a Flair and she's bound to win it anyway. Eric toys with the idea, but says he has a better idea. And there's other matches that are happening on this, but these are only really the key matches and key points of the show.
Okay.
The next qualifier, AJ Styles versus Kushida. AJ is really disrespectful of Kushida, but the match is kind of competitive, and Styles ends up winning with the Styles Clash. At one point in the match, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows come out and try to help him, but Styles says he doesn't really need him, that he can beat Kushida on his own. And so the first week of Monday Night Raw ends with the Bullet Club victorious in the ring. AJ Styles is going to Armageddon to participate in the World Heavyweight title match. Week 2, Eric Bischoff greets a Bullet Club backstage with a too sweet hand gesture and basically calls them his children and connecting the dots between the NWO and Bullet Club. Bischoff says, since we're family, he'll take care of them if they take care of him. And Gallows and Anderson seem really receptive to the idea, but AJ's a little, he's like, whatever. We're all about ourselves. Answering to you isn't really the Bullet Club way. Also backstage, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan approach Roman Reigns and says, that they're willing to team with him tonight because they've been denied opportunities and they're not afraid of facing Bullet Club. Roman says they remind him of him back in the Shield days of being hungry and trying to find opportunities, and agrees to team with him. Eric Bischoff also announces that there's going to be big news for the women next week, but also next week the tag teams are going to be competing in a tournament with the finals taking place at the pay-per-view to determine the first champs. Our next match is another qualifier for the World Heavyweight title match at Armageddon. It's Montez Ford versus Angel Garza. It's a fun, fast-paced match. Ford surprises Garza with a super kick and a frog splash and gets the win. So Montez Ford is going to the pay-per-view in the world title match. We cut backstage. Yeah, we cut backstage again, and Mike Kanellis is with his wife Maria, and they're both just mocking Jeff Hardy, saying that the reason that he lost were that all of his demons are coming to catch up with him. Our main event is Bullet Club versus Roman Reigns in Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm, but eats a Superman punch that takes him out of the match. Gallows goes to stop Roman, but Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan take him out with a double suicide dive. And Anderson goes for the stun gun, but ends up eating a spear. Raw ends this week with Roman Reigns, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan standing tall. Week 3, another qualifier match for the world title. Randy Orton versus Timothy Thatcher. Orton works a really rough and tumble match with Thatcher, and Timothy tries to force Orton down to the mat with an armbar, but ends up getting it reversed into an RKO. So Randy Orton is also going to the pay-per-view in the world title match. Backstage, Roman Reigns, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan all get jumped by Bullet Club, which is fortunate because the first match of the tag team tournament, Bullet Club versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Because Bullet Club already beat the hell out of them backstage, it's easy pickings, and they eliminate them from the tournament. Eric Bischoff comes out and announces that it's going to be feast or famine for the women's roster. Or is that feast or fired? Taking an old staple he learned in TNA, there's going to be 4 briefcases, 5 competitors. 2 of the briefcases are going to be for the title match at the pay-per-view. One of the briefcases is going to be a title shot against the winner of that pay-per-view match. One of those briefcases are going to be a pink slip, and then the person who doesn't get a briefcase, they just don't get anything. We cut backstage again, and Mike Kanellis and Maria are continuing to gloat about beating Jeff Hardy, really just laying it in thick. Mike says he's a better wrestler, he's a better husband, he's a better father, and he admits that he has his own demons in his past, but since he's an even better man than Jeff Hardy, he's already kicked it, and it's never gonna happen again. Also backstage, Kushida approaches Timothy Thatcher and tells him they had a good match against Orton. Thatcher's still heated for losing though and smacks Kushida across the face. He only cares about winning and could care less about the effort. So here is our feast or fired match in our main event. People who win briefcases: Charlotte, who grabs hers with a lot of swagger; Naomi, who grabs hers by sidestepping Nia Jax; Ruby Riott, who gets hers after she hits Kairi Sane across the back with a steel chair. And Nia tries to pick the bones of Kairi, but when she lifts up Kairi Sane for a powerbomb, the Pirate Princess snatches the last briefcase off of the pole and reverses the powerbomb to her Hurricane Rana. Nia Jax is left with nothing. Timothy Thatcher versus Kushida versus Angel Garza versus Montez Ford. Montez Ford wins with another splash to Garza, as Kushida and Thatcher are too busy fighting with each other to break up the pin attempt. After the match, Randy Orton sneaks into the ring and gives the celebrating Montez an RKO, reminding the world the Viper is always watching and waiting. We cut backstage. Mike Kanellis is continuing to just rub Jeff Hardy's face in the dirt, really just riding into this dirty victory that he got over Hardy. But Jeff has had enough this time and attacks Kanellis. Maria calls for security, and once they break the two up, she informs Jeff that because he's a criminal, she's had a restraining order placed against him and their family. We cut backstage again. Mustache Mountain approach Eric Bischoff and want to know why they're not in the tournament. Bischoff shrugs and says he doesn't know who the hell they are. Said opportunities are earned on Raw, and Mustache Mountain are just more British wrestlers who won't amount to anything, just like William Regal, the British Bulldogs, and Norman Smiley. Bischoff also smirks and brags about how he has these big plans for the world title, the women's title, and the tag titles, but what about the United States title? Nothing. The U.S. title used to mean something in WCW, but the McMahon's incompetence drove that belt into the ground. Thus, there's not going to be a U.S. title until the roster earns it. Next up in tag tournament action, we have Breezango versus the Lucha House Party. Breezango win a competitive match against the Luchadors because the Luchadors keep trying to goof off with them, but Breezango's not having it. They're wanting to show a more competitive streak. So we have the feast or fired reveal. Charlotte and Naomi open their briefcases, and they're facing each other for the women's title at the pay-per-view. Ruby Riott opens hers, and she's fired and is dragged kicking and screaming out of the ring. Kairi Sane opens hers, and she's got that future title shot. Charlotte is really smug about this, knowing that, it's just an inevitability for her. And Naomi reminds her she shouldn't be so happy with a career of tainted victories and titles, and that she may have won all of those, but she's always going to be seen as a cheater and a dirty player, just like her old man. Even worse, because she's just going to be in his shadow. Charlotte glares at Naomi and storms out of the ring. Kairi wishes Naomi good luck, but is jumped by Nia Jax and beaten mercilessly. Nia holds up Kairi's briefcase, and Eric Bischoff just smiles, announcing that just because Kairi has the briefcase now doesn't mean she's going to get to keep it. Announces that Nia Jax and Kairi Sane are going to fight for that briefcase at the pay-per-view. And our main event, Roman Reigns versus your favorite wrestler, Dylan, Jinder Mahal. Bullet Club tried to interfere again. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but gets batted off to the top rope onto Gallows and Anderson. Jinder Mahal eats a spear, and Roman wins, celebrating in the middle of the ring. And now it's time for the Armageddon pay-per-view. Our first match is a scramble between Jinder Mahal, Angel Garza, Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan, Tyler Bate, and Kalisto. A scramble match, for those who do not know, is an old Ring of Honor concept where there's a ton of dudes, only 2 of them are allowed in the ring at a time, and whoever gets the first pinfall wins. So the winner of this match is going to be Angel Garza. Some important notes from it are Burch and Lorcan have some tension with each other and get into a striking match. The Lucha House Party and Trent Seven end up fighting outside the ring, and they end up getting dived on by Tyler Bate and Kalisto. Jinder Mahal spends most of the match bullying people because he's the biggest guy in the ring, and when he goes for his finishing maneuver, the Koloss, I believe, Angel Garza breaks free and reverses the finish into a victory roll. Our next match is an exhibition between 2 wrestlers who's been having a lot of tension with each other, Timothy Thatcher versus Kushida. The match goes to a time limit draw, with Thatcher trapped in the hoverboard lock as the clock hits 0. After the match, Kushida tries to shake Thatcher's hand, but is once again left hanging. Right now, for the vacant WWE Tag Team Raw titles, it's going to be Gallows and Anderson versus Breezango. The club treats Breezango's jokes at first, mocking them by doing the Dango dance. Breezango shows some fire and intensity, but ultimately come up short when Fandango is thrown from the top rope, leaving Breeze to eat the Magic Killer. The winner and first tag team champions on the Raw brand, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Bullet Club. Next up is our briefcase match, Kairi Sane versus Nia Jax. Nia is bullying the hell out of Kairi, just ragdolling her for most of the match. Kairi is able to take advantage of Nia after she tries to bull rush her into an outside barricade and misses. Kairi goes up for the big elbow drop, but Ruby Riott hops the barricades and shoves her off the top rope. She then hits Kairi with the Riott kick, leaving her an open target for Nia Jax. Nia Jax hits her leg drop, wins, and takes the next title shot briefcase against whoever wins the women's match at the next pay-per-view. Next up is for the women's title, Charlotte versus Naomi. It's a strong competitive match with Charlotte and Naomi going back and forth. Charlotte really rides the line of being a villain and a hero, and she sees an opportunity to hit Naomi with a chair after she inadvertently knocks out the referee with a big boot. But she keeps it clean, not wanting to win and prove people right about her, that she can only win by cheating and playing dirty. Naomi ends up hitting her finish and split leg of moonsault for the win, though. After the match, Charlotte sits on the outside, really angry and frustrated with herself when the camera cuts up to the top of the ramp with Nia Jax holding up the briefcase with a big smile on her face. Our winner and new and first Raw Women's champion, Naomi. And time for our main event, a 5-pack challenge elimination. AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus Mike Kanellis versus Montez Ford. These are the notes and the order of elimination. Mike Kanellis teams up with Randy Orton to gang up on Ford and Roman early on before Orton takes him out with an RKO out of nowhere. Mike Kanellis learns a very valuable lesson. You don't trust Randy Orton. Randy Orton is eliminated next after AJ Styles clash after Randy misses the punt. Next up eliminated is AJ Styles. The club hits the ring and wallops Roman and Ford from behind. AJ smiles thinking that he's got this in the bag, but Gallows and Anderson turn on him, hitting the Magic Killer before laying an unconscious Montez Ford on top of AJ for the pin. So we have our last 2 competitors, Montez Ford and Roman Reigns. Montez goes for shooting star press, misses, and Roman hits him out with a spear. Your winner and first World Heavyweight title on the Raw brand, Roman Reigns. Our post-match, Roman's music is playing and he's posing with a belt. Eric Bischoff comes out on the ramp and applauds him. You know, Eric, who's been giving him hell, sicking the Bullet Club on him, goes, you know what, Roman? You did it. Congratulations, you won the world title. But the cameraman in the ring drops his camera and hits the code breaker on Roman. Judas plays over the PA as Chris Jericho holds up the title. Camera cuts back to Bischoff smiling with his big toothy smile because he pulled one out under Roman. My big surprise, my wild card that I drafted last week, Chris Jericho.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How many matches did you have on your show? 6?
Yes. So the main event. I had 3 title matches and 3 non-title matches, so I had 6.
Mine, yeah, I have 6 as well, so that's perfect. A lot of stuff going on there. Very interesting.
Yeah.
The Montez Ford thing. Not only in the main event, but like the club like turning on AJ and putting Montez Ford on top. Is that because Montez Ford's gonna be in the club, or is that because they just hate AJ?
Oh, that's hard to tell, isn't it?
Oh, we'll have to check out the next podcast. Is that what you're saying?
First week of Raw. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Oh man, you see this? You're laying the seeds already. While you were doing your whole thing, I'm like listening to it, going, man, he's put a lot of thought into this. He has his shit together.
So was there any storyline moments that you thought worked? Anything that you didn't like? Anything that confused you?
Nothing was really confusing. What I really liked was the Mike Bennett, Jeff Hardy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That seemed like a good touch, a good storyline. I also like the Feast or Fired briefcase thing. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, I've thought of it now that I've heard you talk about it. So maybe next month we'll be seeing, but I'll call it something else, so it'll be totally different.
Oh, I thought you would take another like TNA gimmick match and have like a King of the Mountain match, or was it the Gauntlet, the reverse battle royal where you had to fight your way into the ring?
Yeah, no, I'll just take your idea, but give it a different name. Like,
gotcha.
Like 3 good briefcases.
Yeah, there's 3 good briefcases and 1 bad briefcases.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. We'll call the match 1 bad briefcase. You don't want to get the 1 bad briefcase.
No, that's yeah. You're better off getting no briefcase in some instances.
Yeah. Also, I was kind of like, is he gonna give Kairi Sane the pink slip so I could steal her from my roster? It's very considerate. Very considerate of Corey. I can't believe that. It's very nice. I gotta have Kairi Sane on my show at some point. That's a fact. I will trade you Angel Garza.
Oh, wait, you already did.
No, I know, but I'll trade him again.
Let's trade it a second time.
It worked really well on my paper
well
the first time. So, because that was the storyline I was thinking of. I came up with this one with Kairi Sane and Asuka, and I'm like, oh, gotta get her. But now I don't have anything you want, so.
I don't know. We can talk deals. We can talk deals later.
I don't think I want a deal right now, but at some point.
I said later.
Okay. All right. Will you hear my show, and then maybe you'll be like, I gotta get me some of this Smackdown action because this seems like the hot new show in town,
Yeah.
Anyway, I liked your stuff. It seems very good. It seems like it's leading somewhere pretty cool, and I dig it. So what are your main storylines coming out of your show?
Well, the main storylines coming out of this show is where does Chris Jericho fit into everything that's going on the Raw brand? Because like I said, Eric Bischoff is kind of the crux in which Raw is built around, and his very because Eric Bischoff was the ruthless aggression general manager on Raw. So it's sort of a continuation of that, that if you're going to be on Raw, you have to earn your opportunities. You have to take your opportunities. So how's Jericho fit into that? Because, Jericho's obviously gunning for the world title. Another thing is, where's AJ Styles now lay? He's been a dick and been working for Eric Bischoff for the past month, and now he doesn't have his buddies in Bullet Club anymore. What's he going to do moving forward? Also, what's going on with Ruby Riott? She got fired, but showed up at the pay-per-view anyway. I also have the Timothy Thatcher Kushida storyline that I'm going to be kind of building up into like a slow build. You have Kanellis and Jeff Hardy. You have Mustache Mountain that, they were basically told that, they're nobodies. So, what are they going to do to try to get people's attention? And then, there's other little things like I'd like to keep building up Montez Ford because I think he's someone that the WWE could do a lot with just because of his charisma. Like, dude is just, whenever I see him, I just find him utterly fascinating just because he is just soaking in charisma. He
is good, man. He's like the good one.
Oh yeah, D'Angelo Dawkins. Yeah, there's a reason that the Street Profits didn't get drafted, and his name's D'Angelo.
Well, is that? Are you allergic to the name?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't go near a guy like that. They'll break out in hives.
But yeah, no, I wanted to do I wanted to have like big story moments, but I also wanted to make sure that I gave myself some clear directions moving forward. Because now you have Charlotte Flair also, who didn't win the title, and was basically confronted with this truth that even though she has won all these matches, it's because she's fought like her dad, and she's going to just be overshadowed by the fact she's still Ric Flair's kid. Coming out to a version of the 2001 Space Odyssey theme, wearing the big robes, having the figure four, is she just a shadow of her dad?
Yeah, I dig it. You got a lot of stuff going on, you gotta say. And I certainly wasn't frantically writing my own notes while you were doing your show, let me tell you.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So these are gonna be some big shoes to fill, huh?
Well, by all means, take it away.
You wanna hear my show?
Yeah, let's hear about SmackDown.
All right, SmackDown starts off, and Eric Bischoff does a thing where he says, I am 100% unequivocally not going anywhere near SmackDown with a 10-foot barge pole. That shit can rot in hell. So everybody on SmackDown is like, fuck you, Eric Bischoff. We can run this show by ourselves. So I don't have an authority figure, but I kind of have like, I guess there's like a board of directors or something, like a booking committee or something like that. Like there's clearly somebody putting matches together. The wrestlers aren't doing it themselves. Mm-hmm. But it's like an unnamed. It's a computer from fucking 10 years ago. You remember?
Oh, the laptop. The anonymous Raw general manager.
Yeah, it's just some fucking computer in the back. Like a Windows 98 computer. Or something.
Did they reveal that it was Swoggle? Is that your wild card? Is it Swoggle under the ring with the laptop?
I forgot how that. I couldn't. Like, I remember that awful storyline, and I forgot that's how they ended it. I'm like,
yeah,
whoa.
That's how they got rid of it. It was revealed to be Swoggle under the ring with a laptop.
There was a certain point in WWE history where that was just the answer to everything.
Yeah, just give it to Swoggle.
And I'm like, this is bizarre. What the fuck? So I am doing 180 degrees on that. That's not where I'm going. I don't want to spoil the rest of the show, but there will be no Hornswoggle whatsoever. So I, like you, have vacated all the championships. All the championships are up for grabs, and they will be revealed in a manner. For example, there are only 5 tag teams on the show, so the 4 active tag teams are talking amongst themselves, and they're like, we're the tag team champions. No, we should be the tag team champions. So we got the Undisputed Era, which is Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, the Revival, Kofi Kingston, and Big E is the New Day, and Bobbert Roode. Bobbert Roode and Chad Gable are the 4 active tag teams in my roster. There's another tag team, which is Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, but they just couldn't be bothered showing up.
Didn't feel like showing up.
They're just like, whatever, we're at home, deal with it. So the other tag teams are like, we all want these belts, so what are we going to do? And they're like, well, we all have to fight for them. So the most logical thing to do is to have a gauntlet match, right? Random entries, gauntlet match, the 4 teams, last team survives is the winner. We'll do it like that. And they're like, all right, whatever the fuck, they're a classy bunch. On SmackDown, you're allowed to swear, so they're like, yeah, whatever the fuck, I'm good with that. So that's what's gonna happen.
I'm glad to see Fox is so laid back.
Yeah, they're like, things happen. In the midst of all this, Big E and Kofi Kingston. Oh, by the way, these aren't like specifically like show to show like yours. This is just kind of like
just in general for the month.
I'm gonna do like a division like bit by bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
We're gonna talk about the tag division now, and then we'll go to the next division, and yada yada, and then I'll do the pay-per-view at the end. This is exactly what I expect. Yours is very structured. Mine is very, fucking not so good. So during these shenanigans and things like this, the New Day come out and they're playing trumpets, and they're shooting sparklers into the audience or whatever, and the Revival are like, guys, you got to stop doing this. We're tag team specialists, and you guys are fucking idiots. Let's be smart about this. And the New Day are like, what did you say? Did you say more cereal? And they pour cereal all over the Revival. And the Revival are like, that's not at all what we said. That's not what we said. So the Revival are really hot at the New Day. And conversely, the Undisputed are having a little thing with Bobbert Rude, as his new name is. We're going to have t-shirts, Bobbert Rude. Like, the t-shirts are going to be like, Bobbert, it's a name. Bobbert Rude and Chad Gable against Undisputed Era. That's just kind of like a little bragging rights thing. You know, Undisputed Era, like, we're the best tag team. Duh. And Bobbert and Chad are like, Bobbert and Chad sounds like the fucking sweetest, like, couple, and you know, like, oh, it's Bobbert and Chad. They adopted a new kid last night. It was adorable, you know. What the fuck? Oh yeah, so those two tag teams are just kind of like feuding against each other for like bragging rights, you know, and for the sake of just being like the best kind of tag team that they can be, and yeah. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go into a gauntlet match at the pay-per-view, and the entries are gonna be random. So there's not gonna be any qualified matches or anything like advantage-wise. It's all gonna be random. It's all gonna be on the table. But then every month or every week, you know, the New Day are pulling shenanigans on the Revival, and the Revival are just beating the fuck out of them with chairs to, you know, make it even. And Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are kind of doing like they'll do like singles matches against the Undisputed Era just for fun. But, you know, obviously because it's a tag team, the other guy will get involved all the time. So if it's Chad Gable versus Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish is all over that. So Bobbert Roode is all over that to see who is the best Bobby. That's a good one. That's going to be later feud, the best Bobby feud. Bobby Roode and Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish.
That's a good one. So they're busy with that. So that's the tag team division sorted. It's going to be a scramble match at the pay-per-view. All right, what is next? Oh, okay. So we got Sheamus and Cesaro. Now I remember Sheamus and Cesaro had a thing a long time ago, and they had a big feud, and they decided the blow off to that would be to make them a tag team, which I liked. I thought it was a good angle, but we're not going to go down that route. What we're going to do is Sheamus comes out someday on one of the days, preferably SmackDown, that would help, and he comes out and he's like, I'm Sheamus, I'm the best wrestler of all time, I'm really big and strong, you know, I kick people in the face, I'm the best. And he's like, I'm going to prove how good I am right now. And he brings out fucking, you know, what's his name? Just any fucking jobber. And he kicks his head clean off him and pins him 1, 2, 3. He's like, see, I'm the best. And Cesaro comes out. And is like, dude, that's not a good, like, he's like, you're better than this. I know you're better than this. We used to tag together. We used to fight together. You're a good guy. But you're like, that doesn't prove that you're the best. And Sheamus is like, no, it definitely does. I'll see you later. And he just like walks away. So like for a week or two, like that happen, you know, it happens again the next week. Sheamus comes out and he's like, I told you I was the best. I'll make my streak 2 in a row. Watch this. And he beats up like a fucking, you know, some guy in the front row or something. And he's like, there you go, another win for Sheamus. And Cesaro's like, guy, you can't keep doing this. It's not productive. So they're having an issue, Cesaro and Sheamus. Now, let me delve into the Intercontinental Championship for a second.
Okay.
Let me look through my imaginary notes. So what we were going to do is we were going to have a little tournament to see who would fight at the pay-per-view for the vacant Intercontinental Championship. So we're going to have, let me see, who have we got? We've got Cesaro versus Brian Kendrick, Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt, and Roderick Strong versus Daniel Bryan, which I think pretty fucking sweet tournament, right?
Yeah.
And this is the shit I'm giving away for free on SmackDown. Can you believe this?
I know, you're insane.
I am far too generous to people. You know what I mean? So what happens is Cesaro versus Brian Kendrick, Sheamus comes out and like cheap shots Cesaro. So Brian Kendrick like rolls him up and gets the count. And you know, Cesaro's pretty pissed off, and Sheamus is like, dude, you couldn't even beat that kid. Look at him. He's tiny. He's got a jacket. You couldn't beat that guy? I'm Sheamus. I could beat him. I'm not gonna, but whatever. So, like, that increases that beef for that feud. Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, while Sheamus is in the ring, Cesaro comes out. Doesn't do anything, but Sheamus is like, what the fuck do you want? Nakamura kicks him in the back of the head, pins him. So now Sheamus is pissed at Cesaro because they've both cost each other their shot at the Intercontinental Championship. So now there's like real beef behind them, and they just want a grudge match. So they're gonna have a straight up, one-on-one match at the pay-per-view. So that's that one, all sorted out. We have Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt. Now at the first SmackDown, Bray Wyatt comes out and he's like, I'm the spookiest guy in the entire company. I got fucking creepy ass puppets, and I got this weird old mask I wear sometimes. Split personality. You never know what's going on with Bray Wyatt. It's crazy. It's a madhouse. So spooky. And then Aleister Black does this thing where he like pops up. You know the thing where he like.
Yeah, the little sit-up thing he does.
Yeah, he pops up. He's like, whoa, and he's like, I think you'll find I'm the spookiest guy here. I did the little pop-up through the mist, and I got all these sweet tattoos and things. I'm the spookiest guy on SmackDown. So they're gonna have a spook off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A spook off, by the way, basically just means they're gonna fight.
Spooky fight.
Yeah, they're just gonna fight because but like they're all kind of like they're both dark characters, and one of them's a face and one of them's a heel. Aleister Black is a face and Bray Wyatt's a heel in this scenario. And so Aleister Black's like, I want to fight you, but Bray Wyatt's a heel, so he's like, not today, buddy. They have to fight at some point in the Intercontinental Championship tournament, but that ends up going to a draw because they just end up fighting up outside the ring, and they just get lost backstage. They just disappear into mist, because they're spooky characters. So they're just like, oh, I guess that's a draw. I don't know what's happening with that. Scratch that. So they're out for now. But they continue like having like little beefs and trying to spook each other, and so that's gonna lead to a real Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt match at the pay-per-view. But there'll be no countouts. It's like you gotta finish your shit in the ring, guys. So we also had.
So it's not false count anywhere. It's like there's just no countouts.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're not going like full on hardcore match. It's just like you need to finish the match at some point. But you can't just run away from it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So then we also have in the Intercontinental Championship tournament, Daniel Bryan is going to fight. Who was he going to fight? Roderick Strong. So what happened was we have the Undisputed Era. They're like a big group, very clearly established. And, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are going for the tag titles. Roddy wants the Intercontinental Championship. And Adam Cole, flanked by the rest of his group, comes out on the first episode of SmackDown and says, I'm the best guy here. You'll notice a lot of my people just go, I'm the best whatever in this company.
Yeah.
But that's just the best way to set things up for the first show. Because then then you can see who the best person really is. It's a very tactical game by my point, and not simply because I'm very unimaginative. It's not that at all. So Adam Cole comes out and he's like, listen, man, the heavyweight championship has been vacated. It's pretty obvious that it should go to me. I'm Adam Cole, baby. I'm, NXT champion forever. I've done all the other stuff that I've done. I don't see why I wouldn't be the heavyweight champion. I'm not involved in the Intercontinental Championship tournament. I assume that's because I'm going to be the one that is handed the belt right now. So somebody hand me the belt. Kevin Owens' music plays. Kevin Owens comes down and he's like, shut the fuck up, man. I'm Kevin Owens and I'm the best. So they have like a little, tete-a-tete. And then Daniel Bryan comes out and he's like, listen, I don't like the cut of either of your jibs, but I can at least see where Adam Cole is coming from. I don't think that Kevin Owens has got what it takes. So in my fantasy booking, Kevin Owens is a face, Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan are heels. Because I think Daniel Bryan is a great heel. So he's going to be, his good, clean-cut, vegan, you're all killing the planet, that angle, the eco guy. And Kevin Owens is just like eating a pizza backstage, So Daniel Bryan's like, look at you, you're the reason the planet's dying. You're consuming all these fast food goods with their fucking packaging that gets thrown out the window. you're contributing to the negative parts of society. You're the worst thing that's ever happened to anything. You shouldn't be nowhere here. It should really be Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole to see who the champion should be. Adam Cole's like, you know what? That'd be a great match. Let's do that. And Kevin Owens says, no, we're not doing that. I should be in it. It's not fair to leave me out. Adam Cole's got his fucking back up, and Daniel Bryan's just so fucking full of himself. It's not fair. Not fair on poor Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. So the way I had it, and this was like the first thing I plotted out with my storyline, but the way I had it was just that there was not going to be any like technically qualifying for this match.
Yeah.
It was just going to be like Adam Cole is just de facto in the match, right? He just is. And so we need somebody for him to fight. That's pretty much how they leave it. Adam Cole is like, listen, guys, you can decide amongst yourselves who you want to fight me to be the de facto champion at the pay-per-view. But as far as you're concerned, I'm in the match, and I'm only fighting one of you, so work it out yourselves. He doesn't care. He's way off to whatever. So now Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens are having a little fight. So when it comes down to the Intercontinental Championship tournament, Roderick Strong versus Daniel Bryan, Roddy is obviously like flanked by the rest of the guys from the Undisputed Era. Mm-hmm. Because they want, strength in numbers, unity, etc., etc. And Daniel Bryan, he wants to kind of work with Adam Cole to get him into that heavyweight championship match. But what happens was he gets like man, sometimes booking this shit on the fly is a little bit difficult. So Undisputed Era at ringside, but then Kevin Owens kind of turns up to mess with everything.
Yeah.
So now everybody's a little bit distracted. Roderick Strong manages to pull a fast one, and he beats Daniel Bryan to advance in the tournament. I'm not entirely sure how. We could have like Kevin Owens trying to get into the ring and cause disqualification. I don't know, but whatever happens, Roderick Strong beats Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan is pissed off. Yeah. He's very unhappy. So he wants to fight Kevin Owens for real, and he's like, what we're going to do is we're going to settle this. And, whoever wins this match is going into the heavyweight championship match to fight against Adam Cole. So they're going to have, on the Smackdown before the big pay-per-view, they're going to have this big match. All right? Mm-hmm. Let me go back to the Intercontinental Championship for a second. So now the finals are going to be Kendrick qualified, Nakamura qualified, Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt went to a disqualification / count out / whatever. Roderick Strong advanced over Daniel Bryan. So they decided to just have a triple threat match at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's going to be all three of those guys fighting for the Intercontinental Championship. So that's that. Kendrick, Nakamura, Roderick Strong, Intercontinental Championship. So on the SmackDown before the pay-per-view, we're going to have Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan, and we're going to see who's going to be in the main event at the pay-per-view. And like we said, Adam Cole would rather have Daniel Bryan there because Kevin Owens doesn't like the cut of his jib. And he's happy to watch this play out because he's like, whatever happens, these two guys are going to beat the hell out of each other. It's going to be perfect. So they're going to do some business on this final SmackDown. And so Kevin Owens, and it's funny how you can hear like the wheels turning in my head, So Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan are going to fight it out to see who's going to be the final spot in the pay-per-view. And Daniel Bryan like cheats to win, and he is like apparently the victor because he's like, he's a heel, he's a bad guy. But referee comes out and it's like, no, we can't have this. Like this is an important thing. Daniel Bryan clearly cheated, not having it. Restart the match. The old dusty finish.
Yeah.
And in the distraction, Kevin Owens comes back, pop-up powerbomb, bam, he's in the main event. Daniel Bryan, having now been screwed out of 2 championship matches, is not happy.
Livid, I'm sure.
Not a happy man. So then we get the women. I believe I've done all the other ones. So the women's match We got 5 women. I have, where is my notes? Here's my women. Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Carmella. All right. So already in this environment, Shayna Baszler flexing her muscles. She's like, if I may continue a theme, she comes out someday and is like, I'm the best woman on the show. I'm the best. Who's going to beat me, right? It's ridiculous. And she kind of shows up and she's like, I'll fight anybody, and I'll just prove that I can fight all of you. So she goes to fight. Ember Moon comes out and challenges her. Ember Moon's like, yeah, I don't think you can beat me. I'll fight you. I got some guts. Shayna Baszler beats Ember Moon, and she's like, who's next? So Carmella comes out someday, and she's like, I can beat you. I think I can beat you. So they have a match themselves. Shayna Baszler beats Carmella as well. Shayna Baszler is starting to go on a tear right now. She's looking straight at the pay-per-view, and she's like, whatever happens at that pay-per-view, I'm going to be in it. I'm going to win it. I'm going to be the women's champion. Of course, all the women disagree. They don't agree with this. But, there's not a whole lot they can do about it. Shayna Baszler's just running roughshod over everybody. So she expects the management to do something similar to the Adam Cole situation. She's like, just like Adam Cole, I'm out here making my claims, establishing my dominance, putting myself in the match. Somehow the higher ups don't dig that. They're like, no, the women have a level playing field. Everybody's going to get a shot at the championship. All 5 women in the match, same time. Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Carmella. They're all going to fight, and it's going to be a ladder match. Why is it a ladder match? Fucking who cares, right? From like the fans' perspective, they're like, fuck it, it's a ladder match, right? Why was the Intercontinental Championship defended in a ladder match for like 3 WrestleManias in a row? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's no reason just to put all these people on the show, right? So from that perspective, that's why this is happening. And I'll explain the logistics of why it's happening when we get to the pay-per-view, which I guess is next. So, in this time, Asuka's kind of like laying low. She's not making a big deal out of everything like Shayna Baszler is. And Alexa Bliss similarly is kind of like, she has a presence on the show. She's got her own like talk show, whatever, Moment of Bliss. But she's like more antagonistical. She's not really like going after anybody. So they're kind of playing the smart game. So heading into the show, it seems like Shayna Baszler has all the momentum on her side because she's the one that's kind of like going out and fighting people. Dirty tactics or not, doesn't matter. She'll go out and fight them. All right. So I think that's it, right? That's the leading up to the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So what's your pay-per-view called?
I didn't think of one. So what did I write down earlier? While you were, I wrote down a really shitty name that I think I'll call it. It's like Big Fight Sunday. I think I called it.
Big Fight Sunday.
Yeah. I'm like, I think I might just go for that. Yeah, Big Fight Sunday. So it's Sunday night. We're gonna have some big fights, and let's do this thing. So match number 1, Sheamus versus Cesaro, the grudge match. Let's see who's the strongest boy in this division. Well, because of some timely shenanigans and not really showing that he was the strongest boy, but just kind of like cheating his way through, Sheamus wins. I wrote down Sheamus wins via shenanigans. So there you go.
Sheamus wins via shenanigans.
Via shenanigans. That could be anything. So that's a good competitive opening match to start. Maybe not the fast-paced like kind of cruiserweight match that usually would start the match or a show with, but something good, competitive. Just 2 guys beating the hell out of each other. Next match is the tag team gauntlet match. So, hang on, I actually did write this one down. Let me find it because I had like an entrance order and shit. Let me see. It's gonna be Kofi Kingston and Big E versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable to start it off. So that's a lot of fun. But after a competitive and fair match, Kofi Kingston and Big E advance. So then the Revival come out and they have a beef with the New Day. So they're like, all right, we gotta fucking have some fights. The New Day, the Revival and the New Day have a very competitive match. But while the Revival try to cheat their way through to the match, the New Day cut them off and end up pinning the Revival. So the New Day advance again. The Revival, unsurprisingly, don't take this lightly. They're very pissed. So they just beat the fuck out of the New Day while the Undisputed Era are like walk into the ring. So the Undisputed Era are looking at the mangled corpses of Big E and Kofi Kingston and thinking, we've done a pretty good job here, really earning our money. We'll just pin these guys. So they pin them. They're jumping up and down. They think, we won the tag titles. We got the easiest fucking road to victory. So they're very happy with this until some new music happens. New music hits. And it turns out the two fellows who couldn't be bothered to turn up for the other 4 shows, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, they have inserted themselves into the match because they were the 5th team on SmackDown. And so they come out and they just manhandle the Undisputed Era and pin them and win. And they are the new tag team champions. There you go. 2 guys who hadn't been on the show for the last month, they're the new champions. What a surprise. Right, exactly. Surprise. Nobody sees it coming. There we go. What else do we have? What's the next match? So that's a lot of fun, The next match. Oh, where the fuck? Yeah, the next match is going to be Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt wins, but because of like some kind of silly, spooky bullshit. Like, again, it's not like a proper like fight. It's just kind of like, he like mist appears at ringside or something, and then he just disappears and reappears. The kind of bullshit that Bray Wyatt gets away with.
Oh, so kind of like almost like a Brood thing where the lights go out and then like somebody's covered in blood.
Yeah, but like mist kind of comes up from under the ring,
Yeah.
And Aleister Black's like, I didn't expect this, didn't see it coming, and then the old twist, and then Bray Wyatt wins that match. So that was match 3. Match 4 is the ladder match: Carmella, Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka for the women's championship. It comes down to Carmella versus Shayna Baszler on the ladder. They're both tussling on the ladder. They're both trying to reach for the briefcase. And then, whether on purpose or inadvertently, Carmella ends up knocking Shayna Baszler off the ladder. She climbs up. She gets the briefcase. So Carmella, who is a face in this, is your new women's champion.
Oh, nice.
And the reason I wanted it to be a ladder match is because that way Carmella can beat Shayna Baszler without beating her.
Keeps her protected.
Exactly. She didn't really beat her, but she took a briefcase off a hook. Therefore, she's the women's champion, and Shayna Baszler is livid, as you can imagine she would be.
Yes.
Match 5, Brian Kendrick versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roderick Strong. Shinsuke is a face. Brian Kendrick and Roderick Strong are heels. After, a good, fun, competitive match, Shinsuke hits his finishing move on Roderick Strong. He's about to go for the pin. Brian Kendrick does the old throw the guy out of the ring, steal the pin, put in the ropes business. Yeah. Brian Kendrick sneaks a win and becomes new Intercontinental Champion. So there you go. That's that one. And then the main event is Kevin Steen versus Adam Cole for the championship. Adam Cole wins after Daniel Bryan comes in, pissed off that Kevin Steen cost him 2 championship matches. So now he costs Kevin Steen one. So in Daniel Bryan's eyes, they're still not equal yet. Whereas Kevin Steen is like, what the fuck, man? Adam Cole is very happy. He's won the championship. He skates out of there with his best friends to go get some beer. He is like, despite the fact that all members of the Undisputed Era were in championship matches, he was the only one who managed to win a championship match. But I'm sure that will change in the near future. So that's the show. That means that coming out of this show, you're going to have Daniel Bryan and Kevin Steen are having a feud. Sheamus and Cesaro are going to continue their feud. Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt are going to continue their feud. New Day versus Revival is going to be a feud. And we're going to sort the tag titles, out after that. This is all about the feuds that have clearly been established coming out of the show. Carmella versus Shayna Baszler very clearly has been set up, so that's going to be a feud. And we're going to do Brian Kendrick versus Shinsuke Nakamura at some point as well. So those are the big feuds that are coming out of Big Fight Sunday.
What I really liked about your show is that, like you said, you have a very stacked roster, and I appreciated that you took some very unconventional first champions. Like, I would never have assumed you would have used Carmella as a champion. I would have thought you would have gone with Asuka.
Exactly.
And the same thing with your tag team champions. I was really surprised with Harper and Rowan just showing up. But that's like a huge thing because they're supposed to be kind of menacing. And it really plays into the fact of like how arrogant the Undisputed Era can be, especially with Adam Cole. You know, his title win comes because Daniel Bryan screwed over Kevin Owens, which is a very Adam Cole thing to happen. And he's also the kind of person that wouldn't even care. He'd be like, yes, I won the title.
Yeah, he's like happy to just be the fucking champion. Like he doesn't, it doesn't matter how he won it. He won it. So like that's what that's all that matters. And then, same kind of deal with like what did I have? Like Roderick Strong versus Danny Bryan. Like he's happy to just kind of coast through into the Intercontinental Championship title match pretty happily. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
The four of them are very happy to kind of take the easy way out. So that's been made clear. But I don't. Yeah. So that's my show. Did you like it?
Yeah, no, I liked it because I think with the talent that you had, it felt like the kind of show that talent would be on. There's a period of time in Ring of Honor in like, I want to say it's like 2007, 2008-ish, where a lot of the main event storyline was driven by who's the best in the world. Because Daniel Bryan introduced that theme of that slogan of best in the world. And CM Punk did what he did in WWE, which is take other people's stuff and make it his own, because CM Punk didn't really have as much skill as people like to pretend he does.
Don't go making fun of CM Punk on this CM Punk show.
But yeah, so is he your wild card? CM Punk shows up at concession selling Pepsi.
I couldn't possibly comment, but I feel like I might have just given the game away.
But yeah, no, it felt like the kind of show that talent would be on. It was very, it wasn't stooped in a lot of like storyline that was kind of like convoluted. Like, see, a lot of mine, like I said, is based off of Eric Bischoff and his sort of iron grip that he has on the show. Whereas yours is feels like it's a more traditional kind of wrestling show where guys are wrestling to prove who's the best. So I like that. I also liked the Sheamus story a bit as well. I thought that was really well done, because I feel like that's the kind of story he would be involved in, where it was just him basically bullying people, and ultimately it costing him.
Right.
Oh, and Brian Kendrick, great use of Brian Kendrick stealing an Intercontinental title.
That's it. Like, those two things I thought like suited those characters perfectly. Like, in my head, like, you can totally see that storyline with Sheamus and Cesaro playing out, where Sheamus is like this, bully kind of, but also a little bit like what's the word? Where he's kind of like running away as well,
Mm-hmm.
Cowardly. There we go. Get there in the end. He's kind of, he's a bully. He's also kind of cowardly, where Cesaro is a little bit more like straight-laced and more like, no, come on, we're men, we're good, we can do this,
Yeah.
So I can feel like, and also Brian Kendrick like sneaking a win like that, like you could totally see him do that. That totally works for that guy, Oh, but yeah. I mean, that could have been either, like that would have worked for Roderick Strong as well. Like he could have done that too, but I wanted Brian Kendrick because I fought for him so hard in the last in the draft. I'm like, I gotta use him.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know about you, but if in real life, if there was to be a Brian Kendrick versus Shinsuke Nakamura storyline, where those two guys had a series of matches, I would be a very happy man.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
It would be great. Well, they find a way to fuck it up, but
oh, I'm sure they would.
It would seem good, and therefore
on paper,
I'd be invested.
on paper,
Yeah.
it would seem that.
I would be invested anyway. So, if they want to go down that route, I hope they do. They want to take some cues from us. But yeah, like I wrote the pay-per-view first and then kind of like worked backwards. But I think that coming out of my show, there's a lot of storylines going on. A lot of things have been like made clear, and I'm trying to like get the best out of most of my people. I think everybody's got a storyline,
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very, very happy with that.
Well, good. So yeah. So that was our first.
Do you think Big Fight Sunday is going to be like a pay-per-view that the WWE start to adopt now?
I mean, they did do Great Balls of Fire for whatever reason.
Why didn't they go with Big Fight Sunday? That sounds way better.
So yeah, that is our first month of shows. We will be back in about a month to do another month's worth of shows.
I mean, it depends how excited we get.
Yeah, no, I mean,
if you really want to do another one, it could be just. I tell you what you do. Here's what you do, kids. Just if you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, you can see the next. It could be a month. It could be sooner than that. It could be 2 weeks from now. But if you hit subscribe, you'll be able to stay in tune with all of the postings we do, and you'll get to see them whenever they're released. So make sure you do that, everybody. Was that a good?
That was a little plug ski.
That was good, right?
Yeah.
It seemed really like smooth. It didn't seem like forced or anything,
No, I think it was seamless.
Yeah.
It was as seamless as the cream from the Cream Eggman.
Oh, Cream Eggman. By the way,
bringing it back around full circle.
Now that you've heard my show, who do you think I would have called the Cream Eggman?
Who would you have called the Cream Eggman? I mean, I feel like the Cream Eggman would be a derogatory name that Daniel Bryan would use for Kevin Owens.
Oh, that's a good one. Fuck, that's not who I wrote at all.
who did you pick?
Sheamus.
Sheamus. Oh, that's a good one too, because he's pale.
Because he's creamy.
Yeah, he's creamy.
He's a creamy boy. That's my show is gonna start off really well and then devolve into who is the creamiest boy, Sheamus or Kevin Owens? And you're like, what the fuck? It's clearly Kevin Owens.
He looks like he's put away some cream eggs.
Oh, who has them though? They're delicious.
But yeah, no. I guess we're good to go.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for listening to the show, everybody. Let us know who you think had the better show this week, this month, 2 weeks. It could be any of them.
Yeah, and we will be back with another 4 weeks of television and another pay-per-view.
Yeah, we'll be back soon, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Really appreciate it.
All right, later, guys.
Neat.